Rising Above Adversity was written by Colin MacLean for today's St. John's Telegram. Growing up in Mount Pearl, Stephen Aylward sat through his fair share of motivational and inspirational speakers. His teenage self never suspected it would be him up on a podium someday. "No, I really didn't," laughed Aylward. "I think I'm a pretty modest person. I don't like to toot my own horn so much, so I was quite worried about this idea of having 20 minutes to try to inspire people," he said. "I'm a young guy. I still think of myself as being inspired by people rather than doing the inspiring." Aylward, one of this province's Rhodes Scholars and a University of Toronto law student, was back in his hometown over the weekend as a guest speaker for Vision Quest 2012, presented by the Foundation Fighting Blindness. The Foundation is Canada's largest charity for sight-saving research. Vision Quests are forums held in various cities that bring researchers and patients together for discussion and networking. Aylward was invited to speak at the St. John's event Saturday to share some of his own experiences. He has retinitis pigmentosa, RP, an eye disease that causes slow but progressive vision loss. He's slowly been going blind since he was 3 years old, but his condition has slowed significantly in the last few years, something he credits to taking extra good care of himself. The condition has progressed to the point where Aylward's sight has been narrowed to tunnel vision. But being legally blind has not slowed him down. Aylward was named a Rhodes Scholar in 2008. He is a graduate of law from the University of Oxford and is currently studying law at the University of Toronto. After graduation, he will become one of only 2 other students chosen to clerk for Justice Albert Cromwell of the Supreme Court of Canada. For a guy in his early 20s, Aylward is quickly racking up an impressive list of accomplishments, which is why he was asked to speak at Vision Quest. "I've definitely had some accomplishments, but as far as being able to inspire a whole room," he said before letting the thought trail off. Aylward addressed a crowd of about 100 people at the event. It was far from his first experience at public speaking, but it was the first time he's had to talk about himself in front of group. Lacking some grandiose story of overcoming adversity, Aylward simply talked about something most people can relate to, leaving home for the first time. "Leaving Mount Pearl was one of the hardest things he's ever done," he said. "At home you know where everything is. You can navigate easily, and you have a supportive family for the rare occasion you need a helping hand. Moving to a city like Montreal," he did his undergrad there, "takes all that away. You have to start from scratch," he said. "But it's a challenge worth overcoming," he told his audience. "People with visual challenges can take on those challenges, and even if it's difficult at first, they can learn," he said. He certainly learned in more ways than one. Moving to a big city meant he had to learn how to safely get around his new environment. It also forced him to come to terms with his condition and learn to be more comfortable in his own skin. Before he moved to Montreal, Aylward hardly ever used a white cane. "I was worried that I would be putting a certain social distance between myself and other people, that people would come to see me primarily as someone with a visual disability, and then only secondarily as a person, someone just like them," he said. It took some time, but he learned to see his cane for what it is, just a tool to help him get around. Once he did, he realized how silly his fears had been. He also could have saved himself 1 or 2 embarrassing incidents of walking into trees or poles, he chuckled. "It was just an amazing improvement," he said. When Aylward is not talking about himself in front of a crowd, he's studying to talk about other people in front of a crowd. He's excited to finally finish his studies and is looking forward to his clerkship. He's not sure what kind of law he'd like to practice, but he's not worried about it. He'll deal with whatever comes his way. That was Rising Above Adversity, written by Colin MacLean and appearing in today's St. John's Telegram. Your volunteer reader is Betty McLeod. Thanks for joining us on AMI Audio.